Thank you for joining us today on A Certain Sound. What a joy it is to be with you. We're excited about what God is doing at Word of Truth Christian Center. We're excited, very excited about what God is doing in A Certain Sound daily video devotional. We have a lot of people that have signed up for the email to come to them directly, and we give God glory for that. Mark chapter 4, beginning with verse 35, we see that Jesus told his disciples to get into a ship and go to the other side. A great storm came. They were afraid. They said, "Don't you care that we perish?" Now, they've been through storms before, but not one quite like this. See, these guys were seasoned fishermen, seasoned men at sea, and they've been through a lot, but this got to them. And they said to Jesus, "Don't you care that we perish?" They copped an attitude towards Christ. Well, I guess I can't blame them in a way, in one sense, because I probably would have been maybe worse than that. But they were afraid. And then Jesus stills the storm. And then it says they feared again. And that kind of fear is a different fear. That fear was a reverential awe. So Jesus teaches them something between fear and fear. And he will do that with you and I. So here they are in this boat. The storm is there. And we have the questions that we need to ask ourselves when we are going through a storm. And the first question is, how did I get into this mess? So the question is, how? How did this happen? Well, this happened because Jesus said, get into the boat and go to the other side. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a wilderness experience because you have been obedient to the Lord. And I have to plant myself on this point. There are people who believe that if you're going through a rough time, that there must be something wrong with you. You must have been disobedient. There must be sin in your life. But I'm here to tell you, that's not necessarily the case. Let me give you an example. Jesus was told by the Spirit, he was driven by the Spirit of God into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. Remember that? So here's Jesus, driven by the Spirit of God. Where? In the wilderness. Why? To be tempted of the devil. So here he is in the wilderness, and yet he was obedient to the Lord. Take courage. Be encouraged. Just because you're going through a rough time, that doesn't mean you're not in God's will. In fact, it might mean that you are in God's will. Paul and Silas were in jail not because they did something wrong. I've said this 100 times. But because they did something right. And you may be in the position you're in right now because you've been loyal to the word of the Lord. In fact, in other places, you'll see they were in a storm, the disciples. Jesus was up in a mountain praying. They're toiling all night into the fourth or fourth watch of the night. Jesus comes walking on the water. And these men were in another storm. Why? Because Jesus told them to go in the boat and go. Yet their loyalty to him kept them in the middle of that adversity. So the point I want to say is this. You may be in the problem that you're in because of being loyal and obedient to him. So don't lose heart. And don't think that it's because of sin in your life that you find yourself in this position. Oh, it could be, but not necessarily. Here, it's because they were obedient to the word of the Lord. I don't think you can get better than that.
Thank you for watching A Certain Sound daily video devotional. Be sure to sign up for the iTunes podcast or daily email of A Certain Sound when you visit us online at www.acertainsound.com. A Certain Sound is a ministry of Word of Truth Christian Center in Bowling Green, Ohio. On behalf of Word of Truth Christian Center, I'm Sonetta. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.